Hello, my name is Vic, and that's the first video I've made. Recently there has been a topic which has really been annoying me, and with this video I hope I can clarify it, especially after I was involved with some drama of it before. Before we start, I wanted to mention that a friend of mine is participating in this, and yeah, let's go! Hobie his age and why I think he is not a minor.
To make that character look like a dork. He's 19, 20, he's 6'3" tall, rail thin. You know, it's not just that he's cool, he's epic.
So we all know this one interview. It's linked into the description. Apparently it's outdated, even though I didn't find anything to prove this. But that's why I will not mention it again in this video.
And then there is this, what we found in the art book. He actually lives on a canal boat, which serves as his headquarters. Miles is quite jealous of this guy, but he also wants to be more like him because it's much older and more uninhibited in ways that Miles can only be in his imagination. Anyway, Hobie Brown, aka Spider-Punk, is not a minor for several reasons, based on his depiction in both comics and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
1.1 Age in the comics. In the comics, Hobie Brown is portrayed as a young adult, not a teenager. His actions, maturity, and independent lifestyle suggest he's at least in his early 20s. He leads a rebellion against Norman Osborn's authoritarian regime, something that typically requires adult-like responsibility and leadership skills. 1.2 Appearance and mannerism in Across the Spider-Verse. In Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Hobie Brown appears older compared to the other Spider-People, particularly Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy, who are clearly teenagers. His character design features more adult-like physical traits, such as his height, build, and demeanor. His voice and behavior, voiced by Daniel Kaluuya, who gives him a confident and experienced edge, also a signal that he's older and more self-assured, contrasting with the more youthful, unsure energy of Miles and Gwen. 1.3 Independence and lifestyle. Hobie lives independently and leads a life that reflects his anti-establishment values. He's depicted as self-sufficient, designing his gear, managing his own affairs, and operating without reliance on others. Behaviors that are not typically associated with minors. In Across the Spider-Verse, Hobie exhibits a level of wisdom and life experience, offering advice to Gwen and even subtly guiding Miles. This mentor-like quality implies that he's a young adult with lived experience. 1.4 Themes of responsibility and leadership. In both the comics and Across the Spider-Verse, Hobie is a revolutionary figure who organizes and inspires others to stand up against systemic oppression. This level of leadership and responsibility aligns more with an adult character rather than a minor. 1.5 Voice actor context. Daniel Kaluuya, who voiced Hobie in Across the Spider-Verse, is an adult actor known for playing mature and nuanced characters. The decision to cast Kaluuya further emphasizes that Hobie is an adult character rather than a teenager. He was chosen for his mature, charismatic voice, which fits Hobie's personality and demeanor. Hobie's portrayal as an independent, experienced, and confident individual, both in the comics and Across the Spider-Verse, strongly suggest he's not a minor. Casting an adult actor known for gravitas adds weight to the argument that Hobie is not a minor. More detailed reasons why Hobie Brown Spider-Punk is not a minor with deeper context. 2.1 Comic canon age and backstory. In the comics, Hobie Brown is introduced in The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3, 2015 as Spider-Punk on Earth 138, or however you guys pronounce it. While his exact age isn't explicitly stated, he is portrayed as a young adult, similar to Peter Parker in the main Marvel universe during his mid-20s. He fights as the leader of resistance against fascist government led by Norman Osborn, an act that requires significant life experience and leadership. Leading such a rebellion isn't something typically associated with teenagers. Hobie's backstory includes becoming Spider-Man after being bitten by a radioactive spider and taking on a revolutionary role. His anti-establishment mindset comes from his experience with the oppressive world around him, which suggests he's lived long enough to form these views.
Now I will be talking about the physical traits and visual design. In Across the Spider-Verse, Hobie is designed to appear older than the teenage Spider people like Gwen Stacy and Miles Morales. Height and build. Hobie is tall and has a lankier yet more mature physique compared to Miles and Gwen, who are still growing. His overall appearance is closer to a young adult. Facial features. His face has sharper, more defined features, a sign of an older individual compared to the rounder, softer facial designs of the teenage characters. Style choices. Hobie wears punk-inspired clothes, including a leather jacket with spikes and a guitar he uses as a weapon. His fashion sense reflects years of self-discovery and rebellion, something more fitting for an adult character.
2.3 Hobie's voice and demeanor. In Across the Spider-Verse, Hobie is voiced by Daniel Kaluuya, a 34-year-old actor known for portraying mature and confident characters. Kaluuya's deep, calm, and self-assured voice gives Hobie an air of authority and experience, making it clear that he isn't a teenager. Dialogue and advice. Hobie delivers advice and wisdom to Gwen and Miles that comes across as mature and seasoned. For example, he advised Gwen to think for herself and subtly supports Miles against Miguel O'Hara's authoritarian leadership. Second, his cleverness and sarcasm suggest life experience and self-awareness that are less typical of minors. 2.4 Independence and lifestyle. Hobie has an independent and self-reliant lifestyle. He builds his own tech, such as his guitar and dimensional wristband, showcasing a level of skill and resourcefulness associated with adults. He operates on his own terms, reflecting a lack of dependency on any parental figure or authority. Minors often rely on external support, whereas Hobie is entirely self-sufficient. His punk lifestyle, including his philosophical stance on rejecting social norms, reflects a mature, fully formed identity. 2.5 Leadership and revolutionary role. Hobie is not just a spider person, but a leader in his universe. He organizes and leads an anti-authoritarian movement against Norman Osborn's fascist regime in Earth 138. This role demands charisma, experience, and responsibility, traits typically found in adults. His ability to inspire and mobilize people suggests a deeper understanding of the world and sense of accountability beyond teenage years. 2.6 Relationship with other characters. In Across the Spider-Verse, Hobie's interaction with Gwen and Miles demonstrate that he sees them as younger, less experienced individuals. For example, Gwen looks up to Hobie as a friend and mentor figure. His calm confidence contrasts with the uncertainty and self-doubt that Gwen and Miles exhibit. He shows a level of charm that feels mature, playful, and intentional, qualities not typically associated with a minor. 2.7 Punk movement context. Hobie's character is deeply rooted in the punk rock movement, which gained traction in the late 1970s and 1980s. Punk culture often revolves around rebellion, social critique, and anti-authoritarian themes. While teens can adopt punk attitude, Hobie's portrayal as a leader of the movement in his universe aligns with someone who has grown into his identity over time, suggesting adulthood.
And now I will be talking about visual and contextual comparison in Across the Spider-Verse. Hobie's age is directly shown through his intentions with Miguel O'Hara, also known as Spider-299, Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, and other adult spider people in the Spider Society. He is treated as an equal peer, not as a younger counterpart. Compared to Miles Morales, who is about the age of 15 to 16, and Gwen Stacy, about the ages 16 to 17, Hobie is clearly positioned as older and more mature in personality, behavior, and presentation. And now to the themes of maturity in his actions. Hobie's actions consistently reflect selflessness and a deep understanding of consequence. In the comics, after overthrowing Norman Osborn, Hobie dedicates himself to rebuilding his world and protecting its people, demonstrating long-term thinking and responsibility. In Across the Spider-Verse, he subtly undermines Miguel's authority by giving Gwen a place to stay and encouraging her to embrace her own values. These are not the impulsive actions of a teenager, but the deliberate moves of someone who understands how to navigate complex power dynamics. Hobie's advice to Gwen about thinking for herself is a key moment in the story. This places him in a position of wisdom and guidance, roles typically reserved for older, more experienced characters.
2.9 Relationship dynamics with Gwen and Miles. Hobie's dynamic with Gwen and Miles is that of an older, more experienced individual guiding younger peers. Gwen clearly admires Hobie, and while there is a playful chemistry between them, Hobie's interactions are protective and supportive, rather than romantic or juvenile. He treats Miles like a younger sibling, offering indirect support and encouragement without stepping into a competitive or antagonistic role. Written down conclusion: through his leadership, independence, physical traits, interactions with others, and role in the comics and Across the Spider-Verse, Hobie Brown is definitely portrayed as an adult. While his exact age isn't explicitly stated, all available evidence strongly suggests he is not a minor. I hope with the Google Doc I could clarify why I think Hobie is indeed not a minor and more of a young adult. If you have any questions, let me know. I will be more than happy to answer them. We can also discuss about it as long as we don't insult each other and don't get disrespectful towards one another. After all, I want this to stay kind of a safe space, so yeah. Thank you for watching. I hope you all have a great day, evening, or whatever time it is. See ya!